Hey, how's it going? Josh here from Books by Josh, and this is episode number 72 of the Books by Josh audio immersion. This episode is titled, Why Are Sales So Predatory? Why do I say that? Have you ever heard this person could sell water to someone who's drowning? This person, on the other hand, can sell ice to an Eskimo. Oh man, that salesman was so sleazy. Why do we describe salesmen like this? Well, it's because sales are truly predatory in some sense. So I've been in this industry for, let's say, about 15 years now, and I've seen almost everything. I've seen customers get slammed. I've seen them never understanding what they're signing up for. The reps caring more about their commission than the customer, and customers being treated like numbers rather than people. What do I mean by that? What is slamming? Well, slamming is basically putting anything that you can on the account just because you get paid more for it. When I worked in cell phone services, I used to see customers with so-called ghost lines. Hey, you can't upgrade your account? No problem, I have you. We're going to set up this ghost line for you. Don't worry about it. Hey, this tablet's free. You'll get this free tablet. Don't worry about it. It's not going to cost you anything. But in reality, it does cost them things. What is a ghost line? So back before financing was a thing, we had what was called subsidized pricing, where every 2 years you will get a phone at a discounted price for signing a 2-year commitment. If you want that phone before the 2 years was up, you had to buy one on your own at full retail or used. So customers will go to a store, and these representatives will go in and add a new line with a contract for 2 years, and then put the IMEI, which is the individual marker for the phone, the serial number of the phone essentially, on their current line so they can use the new phone. And the old phone, they put a basic phone to keep the price as low as possible. When the customer found out, it was too late, and if they want to cancel out that line, there are early termination fee of northward of $300 a month. So that's one way. Or they add on all these different packages. So I used to work for a company that offered television services for cell phones. You can have that GPS as an add-on. I worked in cell phones many moons ago. So they would add these things on there as well, because it brought in more revenue, so they would get paid more. Whereas now where I work, I've seen them slam customers by adding on services that the customer didn't want. So, Mr. Customer, you want this service? No problem. Here you go. I'll sell you this service. Price is online $40 a month. But you know what? Here you go. It's going to be $113 a month for worse service and more products per se. Because the customer isn't aware of online pricing. They're elderly, they're challenged mentally, physically. They don't have access to the same tools. They just sign up because we're the only provider in their area. And guess what? They have things they don't need. I've seen customers with protection packages, 3 of them on one account, but yet the customer doesn't even know this. And they're set up for paperless billing, and it goes to an email they don't have. And their card's set for automatic payment, and they're just paying it month in and month out. And that's bad, because the representatives are lining their pockets with all of this, just because it's a commission-based environment. You go to a car dealership, they run to you essentially. They don't physically run. Some might. But you go to a car dealership, they see you looking, they're going to come to you. And guess what? That sticker price isn't what you're going to end up at. They might give you $100 off the car, but they might sell you extended warranty, all these things you don't need. Okay? Prime example, I went to Apple Store the other day to trade in my old phone. I have the new one, the 14 Pro Max, and they're pushing Apple Care. I have Apple Care on my iPad, my laptop, things like that. But for a phone, I have Asurion. I already paid through my wireless carrier X amount of dollars a month in case my phone's lost or stolen. Why would I pay more money for the same insurance, and then I use a card that gives me 1 year of extended warranty? So if something goes wrong, my card wouldn't reimburse me. So they're pushing that. about the values of it. I understand the value, but I already have it covered. But cars and other devices are so much worse. I worked in Circuit City way back when it was a thing. And in there, I remember I was ruthless because I got more hours for the additional services I sold. So for every $35 of additional services I sold, I received 1 hour. I was working part time and making over 40 hours a week because of how much I was selling. I remember someone from my junior high school and high school came in to the store to buy a $300 computer. And by the time they were done with me, the price was over $900. It was how we were trained. I slammed customers. I sold the recovery disk option. I sold virus protection, spyware, software, Microsoft Office. Mind you, did they need it? Yes and no. You can make a recovery disk on your own. You can get Open Office or pay for Microsoft. Yeah, you can install it yourself. Why pay us? Or the extended warranty. You don't need it. Okay? Sure. You can buy a TV. You can add extended warranty, this, that, and the third. I've had a TV that went out within 5 years, but guess what? Even if I had extended warranty, it wasn't covered. But let's go to the next thing. Not breaking down the charges. Have you ever went somewhere and went to purchase something and they just give you an amount? They won't tell you the exact breakdown. I deal with customers for a living, and sometimes they want an itemized bill. And I provide it to them, but other representatives in the same company don't. They just tell them this is your amount every month, have a nice day. Then the customer calls back, hey, this wasn't what they promised me. Then I have to explain, hey, they gave you prices before tax, before this, that, and the third. And it creates a headache, and it actually diminishes from the business because customers feel like we're hiding things from them because we're not upfront with them on the pricing and what they're getting for it. You shouldn't pay something and not know what you're paying for. It's a two-way sword, though, because I have customers that pay bills and I have to tell them. So you're telling me for a year you're paying for this charge and you just realize you're paying for it now. I don't know about you, but I get my credit card statement, I read it. I get my internet bill, I read it, my cell phone bill. I know how much is coming out of my account because if not, how can I budget, you know? So like I said, you can't fault the company when you don't do your due diligence. You have to also make sure the charges are correct. Also take a look at your bills. If you're living in 2022 like we are now, every little bit helps. So why are you paying for this service if you're not using it? Let's say, hey, you have Hulu coming out automatically from your debit or credit card or PayPal, and you just realized it now because you went to your PayPal and say, hey, what's coming out of my account? $14 a month or $17 a month or $11 a month? Oh, it's Hulu. Oh my God, I didn't know I had this. Well, all these months you've been paying for it. But let's get out of that and go into worrying about their commissions rather than the customer. Why do sales reps do this? Well, sales are commission based. I have friends that work door-to-door selling, and majority of the salary, 80%, is commission. They make a nice base, but their commission is the bulk of their salary. Even for myself, commission is about 40% of my take-home pay every year. And the problem is, when people see a commission, they're willing to do anything for it. I've seen hundreds of people lose their job because they're focused on commission and they break the rules. To be number one. Hey, I want to be number one because I'll make this much money. You focus on the commission. Let's say you're number one, you take home $10,000. But it costs you your integrity. Is it worth it? Sure, you could be number one 1 month, 2 months, 3 months even. That's $30,000. But guess what? Eventually, like I said, karma. It's going to catch up to you. And guess what? You're going to have to pay that back by losing your job. You won't have to pay back anything monetarily. But guess what? You no longer have a job. You can't collect unemployment because you violate company policy. And hopefully you didn't spend all that money and you also have to pay taxes on that too because you're going to owe some money back. But the whole thing is when commissions in play, certain representatives will do more nefarious things just to get that extra dollar or two here and there. I remember a representative I worked with, we had an incentive, or they changed our commission plan to sell the product. And this person's parent worked in the store. And since we're over the phone, all we had to do in the system to sell said product was enter our representative ID. So what they did was they had their parent who worked in the actual retail location enter all their sales under the child. And that resulted in them selling 50 to 70 of these products every month. My selling of the product was decent. I was 8 to 10. I was still in the top 20% of the company selling these. So on my end, I was getting extra, let's say, $600 to $800 in commission for that. For 8 to 10, this person's selling so many, over 50 a month. So in commission, they were getting about $4,000 or $5,000 just in that. Guess what? When they're looking into this, because everything's tracked, the point of sale, IP addresses, things like that when you work remotely, hey, this person never spoke to this customer. How did they sell them said product? And 2 people lost their jobs for that. Is it worth it? No. And the same can be said about financial institutions. So let's say you have a financial advisor, right? If they're not a fiduciary, licensed fiduciary, they don't have your interests at heart. They will sell you other products, investment opportunities. Why? Because they're commission. They're not required to, by law, to have your intentions at heart. Which is why you see people selling whole life insurance as an investment. Life insurance, invest in it, right? Then get term and also open up a brokerage account, which would be way much cheaper. But that's what they're paid for. They're paid to sell products, and they're told, hey, you make this much by selling this. They're going to sell it, like GNC. Hey, we need you to sell these supplements. We're getting this amount for selling these. Go sell them. And they have to listen. If not, they lose their job. It's a sad world, but the last point I want to talk about is treating customers as numbers rather than people. What does this mean? Well, X company has 1 million customers, right? So that's a number. But it's not just saying I have this many customers. It's what you do with the customers. If you're constantly churning customers and opening new accounts just to pad the stats for your quarterly earning, hey, we acquired 500,000 this month, and quarter 1 of 2022, we acquired 1.7 million new customers. Well, if that's nice, those are great numbers. But if you canceled out 700,000 accounts to get 1.7, you only generated 1 million new customers. It's padding the stats. Okay, there's a saying, it's harder to get a new customer than to keep an old customer. What does that mean? Well, if a business doesn't try its best to keep their existing customers, to get a new customer, they have to advertise, give discounts on the same services, and hope the customer stays with the services for about 2 years to break even. So let's take cell phone service. This is our internet service as an example. So like I said, in the past, the phones were subsidized. So if you broke the contract, you bought an iPhone for $200. You want to leave a month later, you had to pay an early termination fee of around $300 to $400 depending on the carrier. So the phone was about $650. So if it's, let's say, in the middle of $350, you pay $200, that's $550. The company loses $100. But if you're paying for the service monthly at $70 a month, they're going to make back their money and much more over the 2-year contract. With now phones being financed and you can go anywhere, you can go Mint Mobile for $30 a month for unlimited. As I talk about all the time, never sponsored by Mint, but from what I've seen, a great company and from friends' reviews, $30 a month, you get service. The phone, no matter where you go, you're going to pay the same price. You can finance it from Best Buy, Apple, Samsung directly, Google, whoever, even PayPal. You buy a used, swap it, finance it through PayPal, pay for it cash, whatever. It's $30 a month. And guess what? It's month to month, so you can leave and go somewhere else. But because of the customer service, $30 a month, and all the benefits of it, you can probably stay. Whereas if you go to another provider, like Metro PCS, let's say, same network, essentially both uses T-Mobile's network, but if you're paying $55 a month, why would you stay there? There's no incentive because sales reps have to keep you enticed to stay with the company. So that's where departments such as customer retention take a big portion of the budget for the companies because their job is to retain you. So back when I worked for Sprint, I knew a bunch of people who worked in the retention department. And they were literally giving the service away, but the service wasn't upgraded or keeping up with the trends at the time, which is one of the reasons why Sprint isn't here today. And the problem was these customers wouldn't stay. The phone lines would cost them $10 a line, whereas at the time, going to AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon was about $35, $40 a line for the same service. But because of the bad quality, they switched over, which is like cable TV, let's say. Streaming is a big thing nowadays. We all stream. YouTube TV, Fubo TV, Sling, Philo, Roku, everything that's free ways and paid ways. But those companies are month to month. And guess what? If you don't like it, they're expecting you to leave. They treat you, like I said, like a number. Because at the end of the day, it's all about earnings. No one's going to sit there with you and try to keep you as a customer because you want to cancel. Okay, no problem. You cancel out at the end of the cycle. Netflix, things like that. They keep raising the price every month to satisfy shareholders rather than the customers. You have to be appreciated for your business. It's 2022. You could take your business elsewhere, cut the cord fully, T-Mobile home internet. They understand most of the customers are in a bundle with TV, internet, and home phone. Guess what they're doing? They're subsidizing YouTube TV at 50% off for 1 year. So your $65 basic plan will be $32.50 a month, right? Also, if you want house phone service, $15 a month. There you go. So they want to keep you as a customer. Not sponsored, I have to say that. But they want to keep you as a customer and they're willing to lose money on this for the long run. Business-wise, some might say that's dumb because you're losing money, but at the end of the day, guess what? After a year, you're more likely to stay with them because they didn't see you as a number. They saw you as a customer. Thank you guys for staying through to the end and enjoy the rest of your day, evening, weekend. Thank you for listening and be on the lookout for episode number 73. Also, if you want to hear more content like this, feel free to go to booksbyjosh.com. Also, listen to Tech with Josh in case you want to hear more things about technology, things like that, laptops, desktops, phones, software, things like that. Take care. Bye-bye.